Well, good morning, my beautiful people. TGIF, right? TGIF. I just want to just come in here and just give you guys a brief update because of the hearing that's going to be taking place today. Coffee Club will not be starting on time, although we are up and ready to rock and roll, right? So I just wanted to give you guys an update on some of the things that are going on in a couple of cases. One is the Maddi Kingsbury case. Maddi Kingsbury was a 26-year-old mother of two that disappeared from Winona, Minnesota. I had the opportunity to go out to Minnesota and look into this case and had an opportunity to drive this very highway, Highway 43, in an effort to look at this case, find the path of travel for Adam Fravel, and also see if there was any areas that I could identify that might be conducive for her being disposed of, right? So what did we find out? What we found out is that his errands where he ran to Fillmore, it was desolate. Nothing was out there. But it's kind of funny because she was found off a service road on Highway 43 in Fillmore County. So we had to have driven right by her. And that is, it's hard for me, but it's also showing that, when we went out there and said this is desolate, like he would be off a beaten path, dropping her. And we identified several areas that would be easy to, hide her away from the public, hide her away from the searchers, hide her away from law enforcement. So hearing that she was found and able to be brought home to her family was just, this is a horrible case, but it was just that happy, as happy as it could be. She's found. It's a sad, her family is completely, utterly distraught, as you could possibly imagine, but she's home. She's home. And Adam is now no longer to lie and manipulate people around him. He is now in jail. He was arrested after the discovery of Maddi Kingsbury. Again, she was found off a service road. Off Highway 43. That means we drove right past her. It breaks my heart. But I'm very thankful that justice can now be served for Maddi, and justice will never be served for her children. Her children will forever be scarred deeply by this event. So let's just keep her children, 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, in our hearts, minds, and prayers. Getting on with the Idaho 4. The Idaho 4 is 4 University of Idaho students that were killed in their off-campus housing on the outskirts of Idaho, University of Idaho, on November 13th in the early morning hours, they believe, between 4 a.m. and 4:20 in the morning. This case has kind of rocked the world. It is a very crazy case. It has a lot of twists and turns in it. Bryan Kohberger's past, his educational background, who he studied under, all just seem like it's gleaning some type of information related to this case, and for this case related to motive, means, and opportunity. And we're getting a laundry list of documents coming in where the state, the defense, as well as the court appear that they don't want the public or the news inside this case at all. And while I understand and respect the rights of a fair trial to Bryan Kohberger, I've been a strong supporter of a fair trial for him. I want him to have the pit bull defense attorney. I want to make sure that we are unable to give him an opportunity to file additional appeals. There are always going to be appeals that they're going to file at the ending of a trial when they're convicted. So, and then that's on both sides, the state as well as the defense. So the appeals are going to be there. It's just we want to limit those as to how many they can have and what the grounds of those appeals are. And I don't want appeals coming for ineffectiveness of counsel and things of that nature. That's really, really bad. So I want him to have a fair trial. I want him to have the pit bull in his corner fighting for his rights. So those are less reasons for appeals later down the road. But I also believe in the Constitution, and I believe that and we were taught they are put in order for a reason. While those, the Sixth and the First are together, they are equal. The First Amendment is there for a reason. Our Constitution was built on the freedom of press and the freedom of speech in this country, period. Hands down, no questions asked. We need to have the press inside our courtrooms. We need to have the press writing about these cases. We need to have transparency when you are talking about putting a man to death. You know, those are things that the public has great concern. It is of great public concern to understand what is going on in this case, especially in light of the gravity of this case, along with many other cases in Idaho, where victims are victimized and killed. We want to know what is going on with those cases. And as the public, as the bosses of this country, we have a right to know. And so I hope today we find that the judge is fair and is balanced. That is all I want. I don't want everything that I want done, okay? I have motive, you know, I have real things that I'm trying to get accomplished. So naturally, I want all the information, even the stuff I'm not entitled to. But I'm responsible and understand that we can't have that. We can't be trusted with all of that information. I agree with that. But I don't agree with blocking us out of everything. That I don't agree with. That I don't think there's a legal argument there. So I'm hopeful that this judge will be fair and balanced in his ruling related to the cameras in the courtroom, as well as the non-dissemination order. Now, seeing the past, seeing Lori Vallow Daybell, and hearing that her case is coming up in these pleadings as standing, as their reason, as their affirmative reasoning for why they don't want the cameras in the courtroom. I never agreed with it in Lori Vallow Daybell, and I will never agree with it in this. A public trial is just that. It's a public trial. What does it matter how the public consumes that trial, whether it's personally on the phone, watching it on TV, or watching it through social media? A public trial is just that. It is for the public. It's for public consumption. And we do have new technology this day and age that we did not have years ago to be able to bring these trials to the public and have more public participation, which truly is the spirit of the law. More public participation. Just like in our government, it is designed for more public participation, even though they don't want to let you know that. So being that is how I feel about the whole in-camera and non-dissemination order. Let me give you what I think will happen. That's my opinion. That's how I feel. That's what I want to see, feel, and touch. But my opinion on it is I believe that this judge may prescribe a pooled videographer. I'm hoping that that's going to be his middle of the road ground, that he assigns a pooled videographer, a professional pooled videographer that does this, that knows how not to bring attention to oneself while recording, knows how to set up before the trial and break down after the trial, and does not cause disruptions during the trial. There's a lot of companies like, Court TV, Law and Crime, that have been successful in doing this and doing this well. So I hope that that is the middle of the road approach. If that's not where he's going to go with it, then I have a funny feeling he's going to block all cameras in the courtroom. Now, getting on to the non-dissemination order, I think it's clear on its face that there's got to be something done with the non-dissemination order. I think the Supreme Court, the published Supreme Court opinion, is crucial in this. I believe it does not help the state, the defense, or the courts barring the press out of this case. I know that they are probably going to still attempt to try to restrict strongly, but I think they're going to have a problem if the media is not pleased. I have a funny feeling this is going to be pushed up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to rule, and the Supreme Court's ruling will be more favorable if the judge chooses to continue to double down on this approach. But on its face, I do believe that the judge is trying to be fair and responsible in this matter. I do. I think that really is what judges always try to do. And so my opinion of what may transpire with a non-dissemination order, I do believe it's going to be modified. I don't know to how much it's going to what extent it'll be modified, but I do believe it will be modified. So there's the updates, guys, for today. We will be back here later today, probably about 11 a.m. to gear up for these hearings. 11 a.m., maybe sooner. I may decide to go ahead and kick it off around 10. So just stay tuned. If you have not signed into the Bullhorn Betty channel, or you have not become a subscriber, please consider subscribing to the Bullhorn Betty channel. We go out to the cases. We really get the facts. We do not use other people's works to formulate our opinion here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. So stick around and check some of my videos out. God bless each and every one of you. And until next time, be kind to one another.